Hey, it's me, Jimmy D, and I'm here with Allie. We're here to talk about The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 4. Um, we're back to a decent amount of time for an episode. Allie, I don't know if you noticed, but
Boy,
last week's episode was only 30 minutes.
it was really that short.
Yes,
How
uh,
long was this episode?
this was over 40.
I felt like it was a little.
Yeah. But, yes, you have a Baby Yoda now. Um, I want to first talk. Let's first talk about I feel like cinematography wise, because we praised last week's episode for how it looked. While this episode I don't think was as top notch as
I wasn't intrigued, really,
I,
to be
I,
honest.
I don't think it was as top notch as last week's episode. Um, Bryce Dallas Howard did such an amazing job directing last week's episode that it's gonna be hard to compare to that.
But, yeah, and I feel like that, like, it was still interesting, but, like, I don't know, for me, like, personally, it was just kind of like, I could have gone without the episode, except for, the Baby Yoda moments.
So I liked this episode and I disliked it for a couple of reasons. I really enjoyed this episode because it does deal with characters from season 1 that Mandalorian already has a reputation with. And you do get a lot of Empire stuff. And the fact that the Empire, what is left of the Empire, is experimenting and trying to make I guess clone troopers that are they have the um Metachlorian blood, because that's what they
Yeah,
harvested from Baby Yoda. I was trying to think of the name
that's okay. I know
uh
what you meant.
to make them kind of force sensitive clones or stormtroopers. I couldn't quite see what they looked like there at the end of the episode. They were just all black suits. Um, but I'm intrigued by that. That was interesting, and it plants some stuff for the future and along the season.
Hmm.
I disliked this episode some because very much at the beginning it felt like it was a side story, a side quest for Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, because
Yeah.
the ship's damaged and he's like, let's stop and see a few friends and everything. So it did give off a vibe of that, because coming off of last week's episode, you really are going into it thinking, okay, we're gonna see. I can still can't pronounce her name, but the
Isla or something.
yeah, the amazing girl from the
Ayla.
yeah from the Clone Wars that they're making into a live action character. I'm really excited to see her, and the fact that we left last week's episode thinking, okay, well, it seems like she's going to be in this one. Like, this is the episode they're going to introduce her, but it wasn't. It's they keep like the Mandalorian's trip is
Yeah.
sort of like the Odyssey, where Odysseus is trying to get home and he never makes it there, and that's kind of how I feel like with the Mandalorian right now. He has a goal,
Yeah.
but he keeps getting sidetracked or pulled in other directions where he actually never gets to his mission.
And that's exactly what it is. And I get it. Like, you can't, if you focus on the whole story all at once, it's going to be very short. So you have to
But
do side things, but to make it feel like it's not a thing.
the
It's,
thing is, I understand like the Flash and all, and the like CW shows that do side quest stories that are like filler episodes. Well, this
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call this a filler episode. Um, but The Mandalorian is only 8 episodes a season. So,
Mm.
in a way, you could do 8 straight episodes of story and it works. This one,
Yeah.
it was a mixture. you did have a lot of story elements, but there was still a lot of elements that kind of made it feel like, okay, well, this is not as important. And that's sort of how I felt. I do love all of the callbacks and the references, and you have the X-Wings back again, and you have all these interconnections that keep twining throughout the different episodes this season on The Mandalorian, which is great. Let's talk about Allie's 2 favorite scenes. They're both the Baby Yoda scenes, but they were so well done and hilarious.
The only things that matter.
They were hilarious. First, you have Baby Yoda messing with the wires, and it almost felt like a Baby Groot moment from Guardians of the Galaxy, where Rocket's trying to explain to Baby Groot, don't push this button, and
so funny.
it was so good. Baby Yoda, the expressions and just him trying to hold the wires and all, it was amazing. I love that scene. It's a definite standout moment. The other scene is when Baby Yoda's sitting in the school building and uses the Force to basically get these blue Oreos from this kid, and it's hilarious, and it's really well done. The Baby Yoda itself, they really upgraded Baby Yoda. The animatronics and all that they use for the practical Baby Yoda is just top notch.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Those were definitely the highlights of this whole episode for me. For the Baby Yoda moments, and I just thought it was just so much fun.
Another thing I want to mention, the score, the music for this episode. And The Mandalorian has great music, but this episode, it really matched the fight scenes that they were going through. Like the whole sequence with them in the bus shooting the stormtroopers chasing them and everything. The music that was playing over top of the whole scene was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. It really added to the feel of what was happening. And again, just the visuals, you don't really see any moments that say, okay, yeah, that's CGI. Like you can guess what's CGI, but it's not very blunt. Like it doesn't stand out. The scenes blend well together. Comedy was great. Action scenes were great. To be honest, the story elements we got that add to the season and move the plot along were really interesting. The fact that it was a lab and they were experimenting and everything, it gives me very much Nazi vibes.
Well, I mean, like that's whole Star
yeah,
Wars.
that's Empire anyway. But like they never went this route.
No, they never went this route, and now they're really playing into that like lore, because it's people always associated the Empire with the Nazi regime.
Yeah.
And they have to be very careful with this, because this is a very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, whatever. But then again, like I have a minor in this stuff, so for me, like this is like I'm reading a book, but it's sci-fi.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, which seems a little bit ridiculous, but that's kind of how it is. And either they can really nail this, or they're gonna really piss people off.
To be honest, we'll have to see where it goes. I feel like the direction they're taking it, I feel like we'll be fine, and they're gonna nail it, because with the Mandalorian in general, they have pretty much nailed from across the board. The Mandalorian alone has saved Star Wars, because the movies have not. I mean, they drove Star Wars into the ground. So I feel like they're gonna nail it, but it is something to keep your eye on and to watch as we go forward. What would you rate the episode, Allie?
I'd would give it, a solid, like, maybe 5. Like, it wasn't my favorite. The Baby Yoda scenes were the only thing that, like, really stuck out to me. The rest, I mean, it was just so. But yeah, I'd give it like 5 because it's not bad, but it's not great either.
I'm gonna give it like a 6.5, 7, because I feel like it still wasn't a horrible episode. It wasn't bad. I mean, I wouldn't even call it average, because you did introduce these story elements. There were a few moments at the beginning that really felt like, okay, this is just kind of a side step in the plot for the moment. But as it got going, once we got to the actual base and we learned more, then it felt a little bit better. But again, the Mandalorian instantly left and everything, so it in a way it started and ended at the same place. Other than the whole Empire ship moment, I love seeing the Empire.
Yeah, that was definitely cool. To me, that's always fun.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments below what you thought of the episode. We are covering the entire season of The Mandalorian and a bunch of other stuff, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do stream on Twitch, and we have an amazing Discord. Links to both of those are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and like always, we will see you in the next one.
Damn.
Later.